Now, the course structure, we will go like this. Now, Ron's copy scene. So actually, in this scene, when Elliot said that he started intercepting all the traffic in... Now, in this scene, what we will learn? We will learn what is the deep web. This picture will explain, so you can see that here is the service web, we have Google, we will assume that this is the network infrastructure. Alright, this is it, the whole infrastructure. So for the Tor server, we will have Ubuntu 18 and we will install Tor there and we will run a simple Tor website. Now for Elliot, we will have Kali Linux. HTTP flood attack, bot 1, 2, 3, we will get, or the server here, and here is the client. The Ping or ICMP flood DDoS attack. Low and slow attack. SYN flood attack. DDoS attack tools. Now the first one, which is Lloyd, and here is the IP, and as you can see, charging my laser as it is. And here you can put the target, the power booster, and actually depends on the programming language you have. But here, now how can I defend against DDoS or DOS tools? Mr. Robot TV show in real life. We will learn cybersecurity with practice step by step and exactly as in the show. Well, not exactly 100% because after all it is a TV show and of course it will have imaginary tools, techniques and technologies, of course, for the sake of the TV show after all. But we will distinguish between the real attacks and the fake attacks or the hacking scenes, and we will learn the real tools. Now, the course structure, we will go like this. So we will have a separate section for each scene. So for example, we have Ron's coffee scene, and for this scene, well, again, it's not just only this scene, we will have a lot of scenes, okay? A lot of scenes from the series, and we will have, for this Ron's coffee scene or this specific scene, we will have a separate section. Now, inside this section, we will learn everything needed to do the hack for this scene. So as well as the technologies, techniques, tools that used there, all right? Now, some of these tools, by the way, are imaginary, only in the show. So for that, we will see what is equivalent in real life, all right? So some tools, some techniques, technologies are imaginary just for the sake of the show, right? We will have what is equivalent in real life. Now, this is the same thing for the other scenes as well. So again, don't worry. Even if you are still new or barely knows the basics, it's okay. I got you. Well, not new. I mean, you need to know the basics, like what is computer, what is the mouse, what is the keyboard, not like that. But if you are new to the hacking or to the ethical hacking, to the cybersecurity, it's okay. I got you. All right? No worries. Now, what is next? So, in the next lecture, we will start handling the Ron's coffee scene. And there, we will start see how Elliot managed to hack Ron's coffee and the website or whatever happened there. All right? Are you excited? I will see you there. Now, Ron's coffee scene. Let's start with it. So actually, in this scene, when Elliot said that he started intercepting all the traffic in his network or in your network, and that's when I noticed something strange. So, and then Tor website difficult to see, but I saw it when he said that actually. Whoever in control of the exit node, also in control of the traffic, which makes me the one in control, all right? Now he said that actually. And when he said, I own everything and all your emails, files, pics, all of the website content, he owned everything, all right? And then he called the FBI or the police, okay? Now, for Ron's coffee scene, is it real or accurate? Okay, now I don't want to say it is 100% accurate or real, because that sounds stupid, right? Well, actually it is real, somehow. And it is somehow accurate. Not 100% of course, okay? Now, again, is this hack possible in real life? Again, I'm not saying it is 100%. It is possible, yes. This hack is possible. And we will do that actually in this course. How to build the environment and how to hack such environments, all right? Of course, don't do that to harm others or damage the systems. Please do that to defend yourself, defend your company, your cafe, your business, whatever, okay? Now, in this scene, what we will learn what is the deep web, what is the dark web, what is the difference between them, and what is Tor, or the Onion router, how this Tor thing works, how to deploy a simple website on the deep web, all right, using the Tor project. We will learn man-in-the-middle attacks and a lot of its techniques, and we will learn the packet sniffing and what it is using the Wireshark. And finally, we will build the scene in real life. Okay, so we will build the scene or build Ron's Coffee environment. Then we will start hacking this environment. Okay, using real tools, real techniques, and something can be applied on real life. All right. Now, don't worry. We will handle everything actually. How Elliot managed to do such attack and what are the technology there. All right. I will see you in the next lecture. Now, deep web versus dark web. Now, actually, they are not the same. Now, first of all, the deep web and the dark web are not the same thing. Please don't get confused. Though they can overlap significantly. All right? So, what is the deep web? This is the first thing. Now, the deep web refers to all pages which are not indexed, which means that most search engines will not return them to you after a search. Their crawlers do not see these pages, making them de facto invisible to these search engines. This means that in order to access one of these pages, you need to either know their exact address, link, or to click on another link once you get in the deep side of the web. Also, the deep web can include significant parts of the legitimate mainstream web like Netflix or Amazon pages or whatever, okay? So simply because they are personalized for users and not all URLs are meant to be indexed, okay? Now, on the other hand, what is the dark web? Now, the dark web is a layer even deeper. Technically, also part of the deep web, by the way, which makes it inaccessible unless you know exactly where to go. So, but it is focused on illegal activities and services. It can be pretty gruesome. Some people call it the place where humanity's darkest side surfaces. Alright? Why is that? What is exactly on the dark web? Well, there are marketplaces for various drugs, from mild, recreational, and borderline illegal ones, like weed to the hard stuff. And there are a marketplace for various fire weapons and ammunitions, obviously unregistered. There are software needed for deeper browsing, like on your browser, and listening directories, list of other deep web, dark web websites and their links, so you can access them. Again, what is exactly on the dark web? There are a few rare books scanned. There are a lot of blueprints for 3D printing stuff, for legal things to illegal things. So, for example, some of them a blueprint for how to build the guns. A blueprint for building guns in 3D using plastic or whatever. And actually there are a lot of these. There are some building plans boasting to offer undetected access via secret tunnels to important buildings. Okay, again, there are WikiLeaks documents. There are a so-called hidden wiki portal claiming to be the original Wikipedia plus its mirrors. And there are files claiming to contain nude photo of various celebrities, all behind a Bitcoin wall and probably fake, of course. Now, there are websites with videos depicting abuse towards children, animals, war prisoners, etc., etc. There are child pornography content, okay? So actually this is the subject of what Elliot did capture from Ron Scuffy bandwidth. He captured there are a website that running a child pornography content. Don't worry, we will talk about or how Elliot detect this website. Don't worry, we'll talk about this in detail. All right. And there are racist content and content promoting violence against various minorities like Ku Klux Klan propaganda or videos of actual hate crime being perpetrated and so on. Okay. Now there are recipes on how to cook human meat and video footage. There are a marketplace for hiring hitmen. Though for the most part, these services are reported to be yet more Bitcoin scams. Still, some of them are for real. And there are rumors of so-called the red rooms, okay? Like video footage of torture and murder. They require a Bitcoin fee to enter, but they are also scams, just an urban legend. But there are a lot of bad things for bad people, to be honest. Now, this picture will explain everything. So you can see that here is the service web. We have Google, we have Bing, Wikipedia, YouTube, Facebook, whatever. This is the surface web. It is legal. Now here, this is the deep web. Now deep web is not illegal. As you can see, these are websites that are not indexed, like academic information, medical records, legal documents, scientific reports, subscription information, conference proceeding, government, organization-specific repositories, and so on. All right. Now, on the other hand, the dark web actually, here were the illegal stuff. So illegal information, Tor encrypted site, drug trafficking sites, private communication, and so on. Now all of that actually is illegal. Okay, so deep web and dark web, they are different. Now, of course, deep web and dark web, the same technology. These are websites that cannot be accessed directly. You need the address for it. Okay, or websites are not indexed. But the deep web is something legal. The dark web is something illegal. Okay. Now, is it illegal to access the deep web or the dark web? Now, obviously, it's no. No, it is not illegal to go browsing on non-indexed page. All right. Now, or to use a high privacy like Tor. Don't worry, we will talk about Tor in details. Even you will understand how the system works, how Tor works. Now, again, like Tor, traditionally associated with the browsing, the deep web and dark web. And in fact, part of the deep web might include your old blog from 10 years ago, which search engine failed to index because it's very old and devoid of content. Okay. Now, what is illegal actually is not just to access and browse the overlay network called the deep web or dark web, but to look into the illegal services sold on these networks, or to attempt to hack things without permission. That's what can get someone in trouble, not just simply the browsing. Okay, so here is a list. What is the difference between deep web and dark web? Deep web is the portion of the internet is hidden and not shown from conventional search engines. Now the dark web is a subset of deep web which is intentionally hidden. Now deep web, to access this you require password encryption or special software. Dark web, to access this you require Tor project or similar browser. All right. Now for the deep web, it is larger than the surface web. Of course, we saw that in the picture. Dark web, it is a subset of deep web, but it is size immeasurable. Why is that? Because we don't know. We don't know. Because it is illegal. It is hidden. It is intended, as you can see, intentionally hidden. All right. Now, the deep web, they are usually used for legit purposes that require anonymity. Okay. Like political stuff, university research, medical records, and so on. We saw that actually. But in the dark web, sometimes used for illegal activities, drug, child pornography, weapons, ammunition, and so on. Deep web, it includes all unindexed web pages. The dark web, it only includes subset of unindexed web pages inside the deep web. Now in the deep web, you can access it with a VPN, it's okay. But the dark web need lots of precautions to access this data. Okay, all right. Now in the next lecture, we will start handling what is Tor. Now what is Tor and how the Tor works. And actually Tor is this thing that needed to create a Tor website, to create a dark website. Now, actually, I'm not telling you to do a dark website or to do some bad stuff like child pornography or weapons websites or something like that. No, but we need to understand the technology and to know how this technology works, so to capture the bad people that doing bad stuff. All right, we need to know how bad people think. All right, and by the way, this is what Elliot did in the show when he captured the Tor website that running on Ron Scuffy or using the bandwidth of Ron Scuffy. Now, what is Tor and how it works? Now, what is Tor? Now, the name Tor can refer to several different components. Now, Tor is a program that you can run on your computer that helps you or helps keep you safe on the internet. It protects you by bouncing your communications around a distributed network of relays run by volunteers all around the world. It prevents somebody watching your internet connection from learning what sites you visit. Okay? So actually, this set of volunteer relays is called the Tor network. The way most people use Tor is with Tor browser, which is a version of Firefox that fixes many privacy issues. Now, the Tor project is a non-profit or charity organization that maintains and develops the Tor web software. It has received funds from the US government primarily, and additional aid from Swedish government and different NGOs and individual sponsors. All right. Now, who created Tor? Now, actually, Tor uses the principle of onion routing, which was developed by Paul Severson, Michael G. Reed, and David Goldsklag. Now, I'm sorry, maybe I mispronounced the names. So again, I'm so sorry about this. At the United States, they created that or developed that at the United States Naval Research Laboratory in 1990s. Now, again, you may say, now this is boring stuff, please. I know this is somehow boring, but please follow me for now, because when the real hack starts, it's very important to have a history of Tor. Now, because somebody may say, no, oh, Tor, yeah, they have a connection with the NSA, and they are spying others. Now, this may sound true. Now, maybe this is true, or this is false. I'm not sure actually. But I want for you to know all of the history and every details about it. Now, further development was carried out under the financial roof of the Electronic Frontier Foundation, the EFF. Okay. Now, here is the most important part. Actually, I know that was a very boring part, a history of Tor project, but this is the most important part, and this is required to focus here to understand what Elliot did. Okay, now Tor uses the concept of the onion router method, in which the user data is first encrypted and then transferred through different layers present in the Tor network. Okay, now here is the first step. Now here actually, Tor makes it possible for users to hide their location while offering various kinds of services, okay, such as web publishing or an instance messaging server. All right, so Tor using something called rendezvous points, okay, and the other Tor users can connect to these onion services, or formerly known as hidden services. Okay, all right. Now here you can see that in the step 1, Bob, here we have Bob, we have Alice, we have this DB or database server, we have this as you can see from the Tor cloud or the Tor network, there are a lot of relays or nodes, and these nodes called the IB or introduction points, as you can see, IB, which means introduction points. And here the green lines here is Tor circuit, which means that there are a network between those three for Bob, okay? And here is the public key, and here is the rendezvous point, okay, or the RP, okay? Now the step 1 is that Bob picks some introduction point, as you can see, IB 1, 2, 3, and build circuits to them. All right? All right. And he will ask them to act as introduction point by telling them its public key. Okay? But note that in the following figure here, the green links are circuit rather than direct connection. Okay? So by using a full Tor circuit, it is hard for everyone to associate an introduction point with the onion server's IP address, okay? So these are not connection, these are circuit. And Bob share his public key with them. All right. By the way, I got this from the official website of Tor project. If you are interested to read more, I provide you with the link to it. Please check the external resources here from this lecture. You can see it. Just go to it and read more if you want to. Actually, there are a lot of low-level detail of the protocol if you are interested. Okay, but I will try to make it readable and easy to understand as much as possible. The step 2. Bob advertises his service, which is the xyz.onion at the database. Okay, so actually here Bob assembles an onion service descriptor, as you can see, this one, the dots square here. So actually this descriptor containing its public key and summary of each introduction point, and sign this descriptor, which is this one, with its private key. Okay, so Bob will sign this descriptor, as you can see, that contains the introduction point and the BK, and after it signs with this pub key, this private key, it will go and it will be uploaded to the hash table that inside the database or the DB server. Okay, now in step 3, here you can see that Alice hears that xyz.onion exists and she requests more info from the database. She also sets up a rendezvous point, though she could have done this before. Okay, so here actually Alice will want to connect or to contact the onion service, which is the Tor or the Bob stuff, to learn more about the onion address first. So then Alice can initiate the connection establishment by downloading the descriptor from the distributed hash table. So it will get the descriptor that Bob uploaded. Remember in the previous, Bob upload this descriptor that signed by his private key and he uploaded to the DB. By the way, it contains the introduction point and the public key. Then Alice retrieve it. Okay, now Alice know the set of introduction points and the right public key to use. Okay, so around this time, the Alice will create a circuit to another randomly picked relay and ask it to act as a rendezvous point by telling it a one-time secret. Okay, now in step 4, actually Alice will write message to Bob encrypted to BK, listing the rendezvous point and a one-time secret, and asks an introduction point to deliver it to Bob. So you can see that the descriptor, this time, it has the one-time secret, and it put it on the rendezvous point. Okay, and it will request to be delivered, and Alice will request it to be delivered to the onion service. Okay, now the onion service here in our case is Bob. Okay, now in step 5, Bob connects to Alice rendezvous point and provides her one-time secret. Okay, so Bob will connect to the rendezvous for Alice and it will provide it with a one-time secret. So Bob will decrypt the Alice introduce message and it will find the address of the rendezvous point. Okay, so how Bob actually know about the rendezvous point? Actually, it got this encrypted key, this encrypted descriptor, and it decrypted, and it will find the address of the rendezvous point and the one-time secret in it. So the service creates a circuit to a rendezvous point and sends the one-time secret to it in a rendezvous message. Okay, now finally Bob and Alice proceed to use their Tor circuit like normal. So because the rendezvous point notifies the Alice about successful connection establishment by Bob, then after that both Alice and Bob can use their circuits to the rendezvous point and communicating for each other. Okay, now actually the complete connection between Alice and Bob consists of 6 relays. 3 of them were picked by the client, which is Alice, and 3 of them were picked by the onion service, which is Bob in our case. All right, so actually it is secure, and each time actually it is randomized. Okay, so it creates multi-layered encryption like the onion, and it is hard to follow path to keep the identity of the user safe. As a result, nobody can link your identity to any single point. Okay, now here is a simple graph actually. So you can see that we have this Tor client and this is the destination. Now here is the entry guard and here is the Tor network, and inside it we have a relays or middle relays. Finally we have exit relay, and this exit relay, it will give the traffic to the destination. But you can see that the green is encrypted and the dotted red lines are not encrypted by Tor. Okay, so for this Tor network, the entry guard and the exit relay knows what is Tor client. Okay, actually the entry guard know the IP of Tor client, but the exit relay know where is the destination. As you can see, these are not encrypted by Tor, so the exit relay will understand or know what is the destination. But actually, will exit relay know the IP of Tor client? No. Actually, the middle relay will not know the IP of Tor client. Only the entry guard will know the origin or the IP of the Tor client. Okay? But exit relay will not know. Middle relay will not know. Another question. Will the entry guard know the destination? No, actually. It will not know. The middle relay? No. It will not know. But the exit relay, yeah, it will understand and it will know the destination. Because this is the entry guard, it will know the origin or the Tor client IP. And the exit relay, it will not know the IP of the Tor client, but it will know the IP of the destination. And the entry guard will not know the IP of the destination, only the IP of Tor client. Okay? Now I know you may get confused, but again, if you want to read more about Tor, actually you can check the link I provide you to the official Tor project and you can read more about it if you are interested. Here, what Elliot did actually is that he know that there are a destination or there are a server running behind or running on the Tor network. Okay? And how he did know that, we will discuss that in details. No worries. Okay? So one encryption layer is decrypted at each successful Tor relay, and the remaining data is forwarded to any random relay until it reaches its destination server. So for the destination server, the last Tor node or exit relay appears as the origin of the data. Okay? So it's thus tough to trace the identity of the user or the server by any surveillance system acting as the middleman. Other than providing anonymity to standalone users, Tor can also provide anonymity to your websites and servers in the form of Tor hidden services. Also, peer-to-peer applications like BitTorrent can be configured to use the Tor network and download torrent files. Now, is using Tor illegal? No, because Tor browser and dark web aren't illegal on their own. However, if you end up performing some illegal activity, obviously, on the dark web using Tor, that will surely invite trouble. So as always, we recommend, by the way, I got this from the official website. As you can see, we recommend that you use this technology to perform legal actions and enhance your privacy only. So of course, obviously, don't use it for bad stuff. Now the NSA agent Edward Snowden used Tor to leak information about PRISM to the Guardian and the Washington Post. However, the story is not all good because Tor faces criticism for the reason that it acts as a medium for different illegal activities like data breaching, drug dealing, gambling, being home to dark websites, and so on. Okay? Now, Tor is also used by criminals' minds to communicate over the network or the internet while keeping their identity hidden, which makes it difficult for the security agencies to trace them. The US National Security Agency NSA has called Tor the king of high secure, low latency internet anonymity. And it has received similar comments by Business Week magazine, like perhaps the most effective means of defeating the online surveillance effort of intelligence agencies around the world. Okay? Now, another speculation made is that Tor takes its funding from the US government, which may lead to the assumption that NSA may have compromised the identities of individual Tor users. However, Tor's former executive director Andrew Luman disclaimed any confederations with NSA. Well, I'm not saying to believe that or not. I'm just reading you. You are the one to judge if this is true or not true. So, is Tor browser safe? There are various of claims that have been made about compromising Tor's anonymity and security from time to time. The most famous one was the Bad Apple attack, in which the researchers claimed to have identified around 10,000 IP addresses of active BitTorrent users who were connected via Tor. And the Heartbleed bug was behind another major compromise in April 2014, which halted the Tor network for several days. Okay, there are traffic fingerprinting method that used to analyze web traffic by analyzing the patterns, responses, and packets in a particular direction. This technique can be used to attack the Tor network by making the attacker's computer act as the guard. Okay, so the attacker's computer will act as the guard or the entry guard, the entry point that we saw previously. The main vulnerability was found at its exit points, where the level of security is very low as compared to the rest of the Tor network. Man-in-the-middle attacks, or MITM, okay? Now, what is man-in-the-middle attack? Now, it is a common type of cybersecurity attack that allows attackers to eavesdrop on the communication between two targets. The attack takes place in between two legitimately communicating hosts, allowing the attacker to listen to a conversation they should normally not be able to listen to, hence the name man in the middle. As you can see from this graph, we have Alice and we have Bob, and Alice will send a message to Bob. Now we have Eve, which is the eavesdropper, and it will start listening to the message and intercepting the traffic. And actually, this is what Elliot did in the scene when he started intercepting the traffic. And he noticed the Tor website. Don't worry, we will talk about this later on in details, how he managed to do such a thing. Technically, I mean. Now here you can see that Alice and Bob are having conversation, and Eve wants to eavesdrop on the conversation but also remain transparent. Now Eve could tell Alice that she was Bob and tell Bob that she was Alice. This would lead Alice to believe she's speaking to Bob while actually revealing her part of the conversation to Eve. And Eve could then gather information from this and alter the responses, pass the message along to Bob, who thinks he's talking to Alice. As a result, Eve is able to transparently hijack their conversation. So the types of man-in-the-middle attacks. We have the rogue access point. So devices equipped with wireless cards will often try to auto-connect to the access point that is emitting the strongest signal. Attackers can set up their own wireless access point and trick nearby devices to join its domain. All of the victim's network traffic can now be manipulated by the attacker. This is dangerous because the attacker doesn't even have to be a trusted network to do this. The attacker simply needs a close enough physical proximity. We have the ARP spoofing. Now ARP is the address resolution protocol, and it is used to resolve the IP addresses to physical MAC or media access control addresses in a local network area. Okay, now when a host needs to talk to host with a given IP address, it references the ARP cache to resolve the IP address to a MAC address. If the address is not known, a request is made asking for MAC address of the device with the IP address. Because after all, this is a layer 2, the data link layer, which is MAC address. So we need the ARP to resolution or to map the IP to MAC and vice versa. Actually, we have something called reverse ARP as well, RARP. This is to do the vice versa thing, okay? Now, actually, this is the thing that Elliot used to hijack the traffic, technically, okay? But again, we will talk about this, how he managed to do that, what are the tools, and how to do such attack. Don't worry, we will do that, and we will build the environment for that, actually. Now we have also the attacker wishing to pose as another host could respond to request. It shouldn't be responding to it with its own MAC address. So with some precisely placed packets, an attacker can sniff the private traffic between two hosts. Valuable information can be extracted from the traffic, such as the exchange of session tokens, yielding full access to application accounts that the attacker should not be able to access. Now we have the MDNS spoofing, or the multicast DNS. So the multicast DNS is similar to DNS, but it is done on local area network, the LAN, using broadcast like the ARP. This makes it perfect target for spoofing attacks, and the local name resolution system is supposed to make the configuration of network devices extremely simple. Also, the user do not have to know exactly which addresses their devices should be communicating with. They let the system resolve it for them. Devices such as TVs, printers, and entertainment systems make use of this protocol since they are typically on trusted network. So when an application needs to know the address of a certain device, such as tv.local, an attacker can easily respond to that request with fake data, instructing it to resolve to an address it has control over. So since devices keep a local cache of addresses, the victim will now see the attacker's device as trusted for a duration of time. We have the DNS spoofing. Similar to the way ARP resolve IP address to MAC address on a LAN, DNS resolve domain name to IP. Okay, I think you are familiar with that. If you are not, it's okay. This is the domain name system or server. This is to map domain names to IP or IP to domain names. So when using DNS spoofing attack, the attacker attempts to introduce corrupt DNS cache information to a host in an attempt to access another host using their domain name. Okay, so this leads to victims sending sensitive information to malicious hosts with the belief they are sending information to trusted source. An attacker who has already spoofed an IP address could have a much easier time spoofing DNS simply by resolving the IP address, by resolving the address of a DNS server to the attacker's address. So we have man-in-the-middle attack techniques. The first thing, which is the sniffing. Attackers can use packets capture tools to inspect packets at a lower level using specific wireless devices that are allowed to be put into monitoring or promiscuous mode, can allow an attacker to see packets that are not intended for it to see, such as packet address or to other hosts. Now we have the packet injection. An attacker can also leverage their device's monitoring mode to inject malicious packets into data communication streams. The packets can blend in with valid data communication streams, appearing to be part of the communication but malicious in nature. And packet injection usually involves first sniffing to determine how and when to craft and send packets. We have the session hijacking. Most web applications use a login mechanism that generates a temporary session token to use for future requests to avoid requiring the user to type a password at every page. So an attacker can sniff sensitive traffic to identify the session token for a user and use it to make a request as the user. And the attacker doesn't need to spoof once he has session token. We have the SSL stripping. Since using HTTPS is a common safeguard against ARP or DNS spoofing, attackers use SSL stripping to intercept packets and alter their HTTPS-based address requests to go to their HTTP equivalent point, forcing the host to make requests to the server unencrypted. Sensitive information can be leaked in a plain text. Now, how to detect man-in-the-middle attack? Now, detecting man-in-the-middle attack can be very difficult without taking the proper steps. If you aren't actively searching to determine if your communication have been intercepted, man-in-the-middle attack can potentially go unnoticed until it is too late. So checking for proper page authentication and implementation, some sort of tamper detection are typically the key methods to detect possible attack. So the tamper detection. But these procedures might require extra forensic analysis after the fact. Okay? So it is important to take precautionary measures to prevent man-in-the-middle attacks before they occur, rather than attempting to detect them while they are actively occurring. Being aware of browsing practices and recognizing potentially harmful areas can be essential to maintaining a secure network. Okay? Now, what is the best practices to prevent man-in-the-middle attacks? The first thing, strong web or WAP encryption on access point. So having a strong encryption mechanism on wireless access point prevents unwanted user from joining your network just by being nearby. A weak encryption mechanism can allow an attacker to brute force his way into a network and begin man-in-the-middle attack. So the stronger the encryption implementation, the safer you are. Another thing, which is strong router login credentials. Of course, don't use admin. So it is essential to make sure your default router login is changed. Not just your Wi-Fi password, but your router login credentials. If an attacker finds your router login credential, they can change your DNS servers to their malicious servers, or even worse, infect your router with malicious software. We have virtual private network, the VPN. So VPNs can be used to create a secure environment for sensitive information within a local area network. So they use a key-based encryption to create a subnet for secure communication. This way, even if an attacker happens to get on a network that is shared, he will not be able to decipher the traffic in the VPN because it is encrypted. We can force HTTPS. So HTTPS can be used to securely communicate over HTTP using public-private key exchange. This prevents an attacker from having any use of data he may be sniffing website. So you should only use HTTPS and not provide HTTP alternatives. Users can install browser plugins to enforce always using HTTPS on requests. The public key pair based authentication. Man-in-the-middle attacks typically involve spoofing something or another. So public key pair based authentication like RSA can be used in various layers of the stack to help ensure whether the things you are communicating with are actually the things you want to be communicating with. Thanks for watching. Now, what is packet sniffing? Packet sniffing is the practice of gathering, collecting, and logging some or all packets that passes through a computer network regardless of how the packet is addressed. So in this way, every packet or a defined subset of packets may be gathered for further analysis. You as a network administrators can use the collected data for a wide variety of purposes like monitoring, bandwidth, and traffic. Now, a packet sniffer, sometimes called a packet analyzer, and it is composed of two main parts. First, a network adapter that connects the sniffer to existing network, and second, a software that provides a way to log, see, or analyze the data collected by the device. Now, how does the packet sniffing work? A network is a collection of nodes such as personal computers, servers, networking hardware that are connected. The network connection allows data to be transferred between these devices. The connections can be physical with cables or wireless with radio signals. Networks can also be a combination of both types. Now, as nodes send data across the network, each transmission is broken down into smaller pieces called packets. Okay? The defined length and shape allows the data packet to be checked for completeness and usability. Because a network's infrastructure is common to many nodes, packets destined for different nodes will pass through numerous other nodes on the way to their destination. So to ensure data is not mixed up, each packet is assigned an address that represents the intended destination of that packet. A packet's address is examined by each network adapter and connected device to determine what node the packet is destined for. Under normal operating conditions, if a node sees a packet that is not addressed to it, the node ignores that packet and its data. Packet sniffing ignores this standard practice and collects all or some of the packets regardless of how they are addressed. Now, types of packet sniffers. We have hardware packet sniffers. A hardware packet sniffer is designed to be plugged into a network and to examine it. A hardware packet sniffer is particularly useful when attempting to see traffic of a specific network segment. By plugging directly into the physical network at the appropriate location, a hardware packet sniffer can ensure that no packets are lost due to filtering, routing, or other deliberate or inadvertent causes. Now we have soft packet sniffers. And most packet sniffers these days are the soft variety. While any network interface attached to a network can receive every bit of network traffic that flows by, most are configured not to do so. A software packet sniffer change this configuration so that the network interface passes all the network traffic up the stack. This configuration is known as promiscuous mode for the most network adapters, or the monitored mode. Once in promiscuous mode or monitored mode, the functionality of a packet sniffer becomes a matter of separating, reassembling, and logging all software packets that pass the interface regardless of their destination addresses. Now it's time to understand the Ron's-Coffee scene, the real hack, what happened there. Now actually, from the dialogue, we will assume that this is the network infrastructure. Alright, this is it. Now, this is the whole infrastructure. So we have client 1, 2, 3 through the Ethernet. By the way, this is a gigabit. This is a fiber, alright? Gigabit lines or wires. Here we have access point for the Wi-Fi, like the laptops or the mobile phones or whatever. And we have Tor server hosted through the network. And we have exit node as well through the network, okay? And here is the router, and here is the internet, which is, or the ISP, whatever, okay? Now this is the first topology actually. We have another topology that we assume that there are no exit node here. There are Tor server here, okay? Only the Tor server here, physically here. Or not necessarily physically, but it uses this bandwidth, the bandwidth of Ron's-Coffee. Anyway, now you can see that we are going from the internet to the router, the traffic go to the switch, then it will go to the exit node. Now from the exit node, it will go again to the switch and it will go to the Tor server. Now from previously, we learned that all of that here, you can see that here, from the internet to the exit node, all of it is encrypted through the Tor network. But from the exit node to the Tor server, it is not encrypted. So that's why we assumed, depends on the dialogue of Elliot in the show, that Elliot, as you can see, he able to hack the traffic between the Tor server and the exit node, okay? So he make man-the-middle attack and he start intercepting the traffic, then he start sniffing and he noticed that there are a Tor server inside the network. Now, please don't worry, we will have that in details, what are the tools and how to do that. Actually, before that, by the way, we will build the infrastructure. So we will build that Tor server and we will have the Elliot or the Kali machine, Elliot machine. And don't worry, we will talk about this in the next few slides. Okay. Now this is the first topology, actually. Now the second topology is without having exit node. Now Elliot has controlled the exit node through the internet, okay? Now this is the second assumption, okay? But the previous assumption, by the way, here, actually this is much easier. Why is that? Because the exit node, that the traffic going from it to the Tor server, Elliot compromise it, and then Elliot will control everything. And he will see everything, all right? And he will control the server, whatever traffic going to or in, all right? But the second topology is that there are no exit node here in the bandwidth of Ron's-Coffee. The exit node is on the internet, on the dark web or the deep web, all right? And he managed to hack this arbitrary or this random exit node through the deep web, and then he noticed the Tor server, okay? Now, I will not talk about how he managed that or how right now. We will talk about it in Start the Hacking lecture, don't worry. And in details, everything possible, how he managed to do that. And we will put a lot of assumptions, by the way. So don't worry. But this is the infrastructure or another assumption for the infrastructure. Depends on the dialogue, all right? Which is we have a Tor website running through Ron's-Coffee bandwidth network, and the exit node is something on the deep web, all right? And the traffic going from it, and then Elliot, he managed to intercept the traffic and he know that there are a Tor server here, okay? Now, for the Tor server and for the Elliot machine, all right? Now we see here that we have Tor server, we have exit node, and we have Elliot, okay? The switch, the access point, the clients. Now all of that, actually, we will not talk about it because this is the infrastructure or the clients. We will not talk about the clients. We will talk about Tor server and how to build it, and the Elliot. Okay, so for the Tor server, we will have Ubuntu 18.04 LTS long-term support. Now, why is that? Because Tor actually can be installed on Ubuntu 18, and we will install Tor there, the Onion router service as a hidden service, and we will run a simple Tor website on the Tor server. So we will be able to manage or to actually simulate the actual hack. All right, cool. So far, so good. Now for Elliot part or the hacking machine, we will have Kali Linux, okay? And we will do the man-in-the-middle attack using the Ethercap tool. And we will start sniffing using the Wireshark tool. And we will scanning using Nmap, all right? Now, please don't worry. We will have all of these infrastructure built with a step-by-step in the next lecture. So we will start with the Tor server. We will start installing Ubuntu from the scratch. Don't worry. And we will start installing Tor. We will run the Tor website. And then we will have the Elliot machine ready by installing it as a Kali Linux machine. And we will start hacking and we will start doing the hack. Okay? So don't worry at all. By the way, all of the infrastructure will be built on a virtual machine. I am using VirtualBox and I will show you how to install it, how to install and run Ubuntu machine, install the Tor and run the Tor website, install and run the Kali Linux and do the hack as well. Okay, so don't worry at all, even if you are new to the hacking or to the cybersecurity field. Finally, we will have ways to hack the Tor website. Okay, now actually, by the way, this hacking a Tor website, by the way, it's not impossible. It's possible. Yeah, I know it is possible, but actually it is very hard. It is near to impossible. Okay, but by the way, I will provide all the possible ways to hack the Tor website or all the known ways to hack the Tor website. Okay, are you excited? In the next lecture, we will start the real fun will start there. Thanks for watching. All right. Now, for the first thing, we will start building the Tor server. So we will have Ubuntu 18 and we will install Tor for it and we will run a simple Tor website and it will represent the disgusting website for the child pornography thing, all right, that Elliot captured. Now for that, we will install and we will start installing VirtualBox. Then we will start installing Ubuntu ISO image, the Ubuntu 18. Then we will install Ubuntu and we will start installing Tor. Then we will start deploying that Tor website. So from Google, let's go to the virtualbox.org to the downloads. And from here, depends on the host machine you have. So actually, currently I am having Ubuntu machine, which is Linux machine. So I will go to the Linux distribution from here. Okay. And from here, I have Ubuntu 20, which is this one. So I will go to it. And I will download it as this, okay? Now I have it here, downloaded. So I will open the terminal like this, and I will type this sudo dpackage -i, then the name of the package, the .deb or Debian package, and press enter. But by the way, I already have it installed, so I will not install it. And by the way, the D package or the Debian package, which is the package manager. So here and -i option, by providing the -i option, sorry, let's increase the font size. So yeah, you can see that here. So -i, which means install. So the package, install this package. Okay. Now another way, sometimes this will not work. Another way, by typing sudo apt install, but not putting anything, just put /virtual. By the way, /, which means that the current place. And this is the package, okay? And this will install the package here, all right? But by the way, I already installed it, so you are good to go. Now here, if you are Ubuntu user or Linux user. Now, if you are Windows user, it is okay. Or it is easy, actually. Just install here from Windows and next, and so on. The same thing for Mac OS X. Next, nothing, all right? Or you can just follow the steps like brew install or something or like that. So if I go to the OS X here, you can see that I am installing that .dmg package and just double click on it when you are a Mac user and it will go smoothly. The same thing for Windows, it is exe or executable file. Just double click on it, next, next, next until it is finished. All right, now let's go to Ubuntu. So Ubuntu 18 download, okay, like this. Here is the official website for it. So actually, if I go to it, you can see we are using Ubuntu 18 LTS Bionic Beaver. All right, now here we want to install the desktop image. By the way, we can install the server image, and the difference between those two actually, well, they have some differences, but the main difference actually, the desktop, it has a desktop environment, which means a GUI, graphical user interface. But here the server will not come with as a GUI. Now there are other differences, but we will not talk about it. No big deal. All right. So from here, just download this, which is the .iso image. Okay. By the way, you can scroll down and you have it as a torrent if you prefer a torrent. By the way, it's up to you. Okay. And again, I already installed this. Okay. Now, if you download and install VirtualBox successfully, you will see this interface. Now from here, let's add here. Okay. Or we can actually, let's go to the new. So new, let's name Tor. Let's name it Tor. And the type is Linux. And here is the version. It will be Ubuntu 64 or 32, depends on what you installed. But I installed 64. Let's go next. Now we will give it 1 giga RAM or memory. It will be 10 giga enough. Create. And yeah, we'll choose the default settings, which is VDI, dynamic. And here is 10 giga. Create. And we are ready to go. Now we have two things to do here. The first thing, which is the storage. So go to the storage. From the control IDE, from the empty here, choose from here and choose Ubuntu 18 and press OK. Okay, but before that, go to the network and make sure the adapter 1 is only enabled. 2, 3, 4, we don't need them. We need only 1, and make sure it is enabled, and make sure it is bridge adapter. Okay, and choose the adapter you prefer. Currently, I am using Wi-Fi, the wireless card, so I'm using this interface or this adapter, not the Ethernet, the ENP1. Okay, so the WLP. Okay, now we are ready to go. Now let's go start like this, and here it will ask you for which one to use. Actually, I will use Ubuntu 18, this disk. Okay, now we will have this page, so we will choose install Ubuntu, and we will choose English and install Ubuntu. Then we will continue US, English US. Now here we will choose minimal installation, and we will uncheck this actually, because we don't need actually all of that. And by the way, we can have the server without using the desktop version actually. Remember when we have the option to download either the desktop Ubuntu or server Ubuntu? No, actually we can have the server Ubuntu, so we will not have this graphical interface, but it's okay. It will do the job. So minimal installation, and uncheck the download updates while install Ubuntu and continue. Erase disk and install everything. We can enable the encryption, the LVM, but we don't need that actually. So let's install now. And we will go to continue. Now choose the time zone or leave it as is, like New York or California or whatever. Continue. Now name it anything, but I will name it Tor. And as you can see, Tor-VirtualBox, and the name will be Tor, and the password Tor123123. The same thing for Tor123123. Okay, and require my password to login and continue, or login automatically. It's up to you. Actually, these are not important currently, because after all, this is just a simulation for the server, for the Tor server, because actually it's better to have a server Ubuntu, so without the graphical user interface, but it is the same actually. Again, the differences between them is the graphical user interface, the desktop environment, which is this what we are seeing currently. Let's wait until it is finished. Now after it is finished, you will see this message. So we will restart now like this. Now we will wait until the Ubuntu boot again. So here you can see remove the installation medium and press enter. So we will press enter. Now here we choose Tor 123123. Now from here, actually I want to increase the display, increase the resolution. Okay, now the Ubuntu machine is ready. Now it's time to install Tor inside it. Okay, now the first thing, let's open the terminal. So actually from the activities and then type terminal or Ctrl-Alt-T. All right. Actually, I got two terminals. Let's close the first one. So we will have it like this. So here we will put sudo apt update. Now this is the first thing. Now type Tor 123.123. Now one thing I want to mention. You can see that the virtual machine is very slow. So actually I put the RAM to be 1 giga. But actually, if you have a lot of RAM in your host machine, you can increase it a little bit to 2 giga. It's okay, no problem. So from here, from the system, here we want to increase it to 2 giga. But of course, we can't do this while it is running, right? So we need to stop it first. So actually, to stop it, I need to go from here, and I can power off the machine or save the machine state. So actually I want to power off the machine, and from here, from the setting, go to the system and increase it to 2 giga, okay, which is like this. Now press OK, and let's run the machine again. Now it will be much faster, by the way. As you noticed, it is much faster now. So Tor 123.123. So the first step was to open the terminal and to type sudo apt update, and we already did that, but it's okay to do that again, no problem. Okay, now after it is finished, let's open the Firefox or the browser. Now in Google, let's type install Tor. As you can see, now here we want to go to the official documentation. So from here, actually we want to go to the documentation, which is from here, from the menu, go to the documentation. And from here, go to the expert guides, and let's go to the install Tor on Debian or Ubuntu, which is like this. Now you can see that we can apt install Tor like this. So let's copy that, and actually let's put it here. So sudo, don't forget that, apt install Tor. Let's try if this will work or not. Yeah, actually it worked. As simple as that. No worries at all. So it will start installing. Let's wait until it is finished. All right. Cool. Now this is the first step. Now if I scroll a little bit up, you can see that it will start installing a lot of packages, including the Tor stuff, all right, which is this one, the Tor GeoIP, Tor socks, whatever. Okay. Now the second thing, we want to install Nginx. So sudo apt install Nginx and press yes. All right, cool. Now actually we will follow the official documentation. So from here, I will go to the expert guides. I will go to the configure an onion service. And from here, you can see that we can read that how to install, how to get Tor working. And here we need to install Nginx or a web server locally. And in our case, it was Nginx. And here to configure the onion service. So actually, let's start with this. So the first thing we want to go, I will have Vim. By the way, Vim is not installed by default. So we need to install Vim quickly. Now I will Vim etc Tor, and from here I will have Tor RC. Okay, so Tor RC, and from here, if you scroll a little bit down, you can see that we will have something called from the documentation here, which is hidden service dir. Okay, now let's search about it. Yeah, you can see it is here. So I will uncomment this. By the way, if you can see that this is a read only. So if I type ls-l here, you can see that it is read only for the group and for the others, which is this one. All right. So we will have the same command vim, but this time with sudo. Okay. So yeah, actually, let's delete the comment or the hashtag. So hidden service dir var lib tor hidden service. Actually, I want to copy this. This is the place where the hidden service will be, and I will put hidden service on port 80, and it will be on port 80, or actually if you want to be if you want it to be more secure, you can put another port which is 8080. But we will leave it as is. Okay, so the hidden service port, it will be 80, and the Nginx or the local web server, it will be 80. Or here we can change it to 8080. Okay, but we want to change it from the Nginx. But for now, let's leave it 80 on the local 80. All right. So let's save that actually. And actually, let's go here. So cd to this place. You can see that permission denied. So I need to go as a root user, which is sudo su dash. Okay. Now I want to go to this place, and you can see that there are no such file or directory because the hidden service directory is not created yet. So if I go to the varlib cd, so if I go to the varlib tor, you can see that, yeah, we have it. We have the cache microservice, we have the tor services here. Actually, how to create this directory? We need to restart tor for it to take the effects, okay? Because the effects that we made to the tor rc file here to be propagated, we need to restart the tor. Because we made changes, we need to restart the tor service, obviously, okay? But before that, let's go to the Nginx, which is etc Nginx sites enabled, okay, the default. Now this is the default place where the sites will be. So, or the configuration for the server. So you can see that by default it is listening on port 80 on this root var www.html. We will go there, by the way. We will go there because this is the index or the default index file or the default index page actually. So yeah, everything is as expected. So if I go here actually to the var www.html index.nginx debian, here we can see, or we can edit actually a lot of things. So instead of welcome to Nginx, let's name it welcome to Tor website. Okay, now let's save it actually. If the browser, and if I typed 127.0.0.1 on port 80, which is by default, it will give us welcome to Tor website. Now this is from the Nginx, as you can see. This is from the Nginx, which is from this place. All right, as we saw in the Nginx configuration file. Okay, now this is not a Tor website. Now to run the Tor website, we made the changes on the etc tor rc file. We removed the comment, remember? And then secondly, we want to restart the Tor service. So systemctl restart. By the way, we need a root user or the sudo permission for that. And then choose Tor. Okay, so now we are ready. Now remember when we looked for this hidden service and we couldn't find it, no such file or directory. Now it should be here. If I type ls, yeah, you can see it is here. So if I go to it, let's see what is inside it. You can see that we have two things here, the host name and the private key. The host name, if I cat it, which means let's see the content of this text file, you can see we have the URL for the service. All right, so far so good. Now actually, if I open this and put it here, will this go? No, actually, you can see, because this is a regular browser, Firefox. It will not find this website. Actually, this website is currently available. Now this is the Tor website, but you can see that it is not here. Nothing here, actually, as you can see. We have a problem finding that site. Now, for that, we need a special browser, which is the Tor browser. And we can install it from here, by the way. So yeah, if you can see, you can install Tor browser. And I want to install it for Linux, as you can see, because I have Ubuntu. By the way, it's not mandatory to install it from here. You can install it from anywhere you want. Okay, so let's save it. So for example, you want to install it from Windows, from Mac, on your host machine, on your mobile phone. It's okay. It will do the job. No problem. And by the way, it doesn't require you to have a public IP address or something like that. By the way, even if you are not inside the network, you can access this Tor website if you have the address for it. Now, let's go to it. Let's extract it here. Okay, now let's open it from here. As simple as that. Now, right click here, open the terminal, type ls. You can see that we have executable file here or script. Now just /start the Tor browser and open it. It will start launching, as you can see. Now you can see we will have this. Alright, so you can configure the connection to adjust a network settings, or you can just press OK or connect, and it will negotiate and will start establishing the encryption and the connection. As we learned previously from the theory part, it was in our example, this is Alice and the server is Bob. Alright, cool. Now you can see that now it is here. Now, again, let's go to the terminal here. Actually, I want to close from this and I want to go here. I will copy and paste the onion URL. Now remember when we put it here, it gave us server not found. Now what will happen if we put it here? Let's see. And by the way, Tor is very slow. Keep that in your mind. Why is that? We already know that. Now you can see that, yeah, welcome to Tor website. So you can see that the Tor website are not able to be accessed from a regular web browser. We need a special browser, which is Tor web browser, one of the example. And here we are able to access this website. So no one can access actually this website unless he has the address for it, the .onion address, okay? So to make sure that, yeah, we are going to the same website, so let's change something here. So welcome to Tor website. Let's put another thing here. So let's go to vim var www html the index. Now let's change welcome to Tor website testing or something like that. So let's save that and let's refresh if it will work or not. Yeah, you can see welcome to Tor website testing. So which means that we are going to the exact website that we are serving. And so we are ready to go. Okay. So actually, let's change or put something here. So instead of like that, let's say this is the Tor website, or let's say here Tor website. And here let's put some disgusting content, okay, like this, because it was child pornography, by the way. So yeah, let's put that and let's refresh to see here. Yeah, you can see that it is here. So it's here Tor website, some disgusting content, okay. All right, now for the Tor web server we are ready to go. Now in the next lecture we will start building the Elliot machine or the hacking machine, and then we will start the real stuff or the real hacking. All right, I will see you there. All right, for the Elliot or the hacking machine, we will start installing Kali Linux machine, the Kali Linux ISO from the official website. Then we will start see the tools that we will use. Let's start. All right, now the first thing, go to Google Kali Linux. Now go to the downloads, and here we will start installing our Kali Linux machine. So actually we will use a Kali Linux 64-bit, and we will have it as a live, okay? And by the way, we can have it as installer, it's okay. So we will have it either as a live or as an installer. For that, I will use Kali Linux 64 as installer, and I will download it from torrent or from the ISO. Okay, so for the ISO, and we will have it like this. By the way, I already downloaded that. So after this, let's open VirtualBox and let's press new and let's name it Kali machine, for example, and it is Linux, and it is because Kali Linux is not under one of these, so let's put other Linux 64 and press X. Now let's put 2 giga, or you can put 1 giga, but if you have a resource or you have a lot of RAM on your computer, laptop, PC, whatever, it's okay. Choose 2 giga or more. I will choose 2 giga, create, next, dynamic, next, the default values. All right. Now from here, go to the two things. Remember the storage and what? Yeah, you're right. The network. So the storage from here, choose Kali Linux live or installer. Depends on what you choose. All right. Now this is the storage, and then choose the network. Make sure only the adapter 1, and make sure it is bridged adapter, and choose the adapter you want and press OK. Now press start. So it will start here, and choose this time the Kali Linux, all right, for the disk. Here I will choose a graphical install. So actually let's Yeah, graphical install. So from the view here, actually, let's put the virtual machine to be scaled to 200% like this. Yeah, actually, it's not good like that. Let's put it to 150. Yeah, this is better. So I will put English and United States, American English. Now here it will ask you for the host name. Leave it as is, Kali, no domain name. Now full name for the user, let's use it Elliot. Okay, continue. The username for the account Elliot, and here we can choose Elliot as well. So the show password Elliot as well. By the way, you can name it whatever you want. I'm just putting an example here because Elliot did the hack and we are using Elliot. All right, so it's up to you if you want to put your name, put a nickname, whatever. Okay, so continue and let's see. All right, now choose whatever time zone you want or just press continue. Now we will use guided, use entire disk, continue, and choose the hard disk, all files in one partition, it's okay. And finish partition, continue. Right change to the disk, press yes and continue. Let's wait a little bit until installing the system is finished. All right, now we got this problem, installation step failed. Now actually this is because maybe of the hard disk is too low or the size is very low. 8 giga is not enough maybe. So how to do such a thing? Actually we want to quit from it, power off the machine, and from here let's press in setting and let's increase the storage. Okay, now a simple solution for that actually to remove it, delete all files and just create a new one. Actually this is the fastest solution. This time let's create, but this time don't choose it 8 giga, let's have it for 25 giga or 30 giga. Okay, like this. So 30 giga like this. So create, and again from the setting let's go to the storage and let's choose the Kali Linux we have, the image, and let's press OK. And the network, by the way, don't forget the network, we will have it as a bridge, but for now leave it as NAT. We can change it again, okay, later on. So run that and now just follow the steps like previously, all right, until you reach the install the system. All right, now we will start to this step, use network mirrors, continue, and continue for none. So here it will ask you for install grub bootloader. You can say yes, continue, enter device manually, or actually choose the device you want and continue. Now you can see that finally installation complete, continue. Now it will start rebooting. So you can see that, press enter. Here we will choose Elliot and Elliot as a password. By the way, Kali Linux, the latest 2021 is now available, but I have actually 2020 anyway. All right, now we are ready. So actually I want to go to the setting, to the display here, the display, and I want to increase the resolution a little bit. All right, now in the next lecture we will start the hacking and the real fun using Kali Linux machine as what Elliot did, and the real fun will start from there. I will see you there.